He was only 7, but the night the rain swallowed him, he learned the truth no child should ever hear, that he was a mistake. And as his tiny footsteps disappeared into the storm, the two people who once loved each other more than life itself were about to collide again. Not as strangers, not as enemies, but as a mother frantic with terror, and the man who didn't know the child lost in the dark was his own. A story of a love that never died, a child who saw what adults denied, and the night everything broke, so healing could begin. If you believe in second chances and in love that refuses to die, subscribe to this channel and join us on this journey. Hit that notification bell and comment below where you're watching from, because stories like this remind us why we never stop fighting for the people we love. The law offices of Sterling Associates hummed with the usual Friday afternoon chaos, but Erica Von Holt barely noticed. Her heels clicked against the marble floor as she strode toward her corner office, case file tucked under her arm. At 34, she'd built a reputation as the attorney you wanted when the stakes were high and the odds were stacked against you. Composed, relentless, untouchable. She dropped the file onto her mahogany desk and flipped it open, her finger tracing down the list of signatures on the financial disclosure forms. Her breath caught. Nathan Croswell. The name hit her like a fist to the sternum. 8 years. 8 years since she'd heard that name spoken aloud, since she'd allowed herself to think it without immediate practiced deflection. Ms. Von Holt? Her assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. Your 3 o'clock is here. Erica stared at the signature. Bold, confident strokes that she'd once watched form love notes on her kitchen counter. Her hand trembled slightly before she pressed it flat against the desk. Cancel it, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. I need to make a site visit. The drive to Croswell Haven took 43 minutes, but Erica barely registered the passing landscape. Her mind was a warring battlefield of memories she'd spent nearly a decade trying to bury. Nathan's hands, steady and sure, braiding her hair on lazy Sunday mornings. His voice raw and broken. I couldn't save her, Erica. I couldn't save Riley. The empty side of her bed the morning after the funeral. She pulled into the gravel driveway of a converted Victorian estate, its wraparound porch dotted with wind chimes and planters bursting with late summer flowers. A wooden sign swayed gently in the breeze. Croswell Haven, where healing begins. Erica's jaw tightened. Healing. The word tasted bitter. She pushed through the front door without knocking, her attorney armor firmly in place. The reception area was warm and inviting, walls painted in soft yellows and blues, children's artwork displayed in simple frames. A young woman at the desk looked up with a welcoming smile. I'm here to see Nathan Croswell, Erica said curtly. Tell him Erica Vaughn is here. He'll know why. The receptionist's smile faltered at her tone, but she nodded, disappearing down a hallway. Erica paced, her heart hammering against her ribs. She'd rehearsed this confrontation 1,000 times in her mind. Cold, professional, devastating in its precision. But when Nathan appeared in the doorway, every word evaporated. He was leaner than she remembered, the boyish softness gone from his face. His light brown hair was shorter now, touched with gray at the temples, but those eyes, those impossible gray eyes, were exactly the same. They widened when they found hers, and she watched color drain from his face. Erica, her name on his lips was a prayer and a wound all at once. We need to talk, she managed, hating how her voice wavered. About the funding audit. About the fraud allegations against your center. Nathan's jaw worked, but he nodded. My office. They walked in silence down a corridor lined with photographs of smiling children. Erica kept her eyes straight ahead, terrified that if she looked at him too long, the carefully constructed walls would crumble. His office was sparse, a desk, 2 chairs, windows overlooking a garden where children played under the supervision of counselors. Nathan gestured to a chair, but Erica remained standing. The city's investigation found irregularities in your financial reporting, she began, her attorney voice crisp and detached. Donated funds that can't be accounted for, expense reports that don't match your stated budget allocations. Erica, his voice was quiet but firm. Why are you really here? Her composure cracked. Because someone has to hold you accountable, Nathan. You can't just... She stopped herself, taking a sharp breath. The funding fraud. That's why I'm here. That's the only reason I'm here. Is it? He moved closer, and she caught the familiar scent of him, cedar and something indefinably Nathan. Because it feels like you're here to finish a conversation we never got to have 8 years ago. You left! The words exploded from her before she could stop them. Riley died on your table, and you just left. No explanation, no goodbye. Just a note saying you couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't, Nathan said, his voice rough with old pain. Don't you understand? Every time I looked at you, I saw your sister dying under my hands. I saw myself failing at the one thing I was supposed to do. Save lives. Save her. So you saved yourself instead? Erica's laugh was sharp and humorless. You walked away from medicine, from the city, from me. She couldn't say it. You left when I needed you most. Nathan's eyes glistened, but his voice remained steady. You needed peace, Erica, and I was the noise that took it away. Every time you looked at me, you saw the man who couldn't save your baby sister. I couldn't be that reminder for you. I couldn't watch you pretend it didn't matter. It mattered, she whispered, and there it was, the truth she'd never spoken. You mattered, but you didn't even give me the choice. The silence stretched between them, heavy with all the words they'd never said. Finally, Nathan spoke, his voice barely audible. I know I hurt you, and I've carried that with me every single day. But the funding allegations? They're wrong, Erica. Every cent has been accounted for. I have nothing to hide. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him. But 8 years of practiced self-protection made her shake her head. Then you'll have no problem with a full audit. I'll need access to all your financial records, donor information, and expense documentation by Monday. You'll have it. They stared at each other, the weight of history pressing down like a physical thing. Erica turned to leave, then paused at the door. For what it's worth, she said without looking back, Riley would have forgiven you. She always saw the best in people, even when they couldn't see it in themselves. I know, Nathan said softly. She was like you that way. Erica left without responding, but her vision blurred on the drive home. She told herself it was just the setting sun in her eyes. 3 weeks later, the audit was complete. Erica had pored over every transaction, every receipt, every dollar that flowed through Crosswell Haven. The conclusion was irrefutable. Nathan wasn't embezzling. He was quietly bankrupting himself to help children whose families couldn't afford medical care, scholarships for teens aging out of foster care, emergency housing for families fleeing abuse. She filed her report clearing his name on a Friday afternoon, then sat staring at her phone, debating whether to call him. In the end, she didn't. What would she say? 3 weeks later, Erica found herself back at Crosswell Haven, but not by choice. Adrian Vaughn, her husband, had insisted they attend the charity fundraiser, something about maintaining their public image, networking with the right people. She'd tried to argue, but Adrian had given her that look, the one that said her resistance would be noted and punished later. So here she was, in a cocktail dress that cost more than most people's monthly rent, smile fixed in place, with Liam's small hand in hers. Mom, can I go look at the garden? Liam asked, his storm gray eyes bright with curiosity. Erica glanced toward Adrian, who was deep in conversation with a hospital administrator. He wouldn't miss them. Stay where I can see you, sweetheart. Don't wander off. She watched her 7-year-old son navigate through the clusters of adults with the careful politeness she'd taught him. He was such a gentle child, too gentle sometimes for a world that rewarded aggression. At home, he made himself small, quiet, invisible. But here, she noticed his shoulders weren't quite so hunched. Erica. She turned to find Nathan approaching, looking uncomfortable in a suit and tie. Their eyes met, and her breath hitched the way it always did now when she saw him. She'd filed the report 3 weeks ago and hadn't called to tell him, hadn't trusted herself to hear his voice. Nathan, the event looks wonderful. Your team did an excellent job. Thank you. He shifted his weight, hands in his pockets. I got your report. I wanted to call to thank you for being thorough, for just doing my job, she interrupted, unable to bear the gratitude in his voice. An awkward silence fell. Then Nathan's gaze shifted past her, and his expression transformed into something soft and wondering. Is that your son? Erica followed his gaze to where Liam stood beside a flower bed, gently touching the petals of a rose. Her throat tightened. Yes, that's Liam. He's beautiful. How old? 7. He just turned 7 in March. If Nathan did the math, and God knows he had to be doing the math, he gave no sign. Instead, he smiled. Would you mind if I said hello? I like to meet the families who support our work. Every instinct screamed at her to say no, to grab Liam and leave, to keep these two pieces of her fractured world separate. But she nodded, her voice desert dry. Of course. She watched Nathan walk over to Liam, watched him crouch down to her son's level. Even from a distance, she saw the exact moment Nathan's world tilted, saw him freeze, his eyes locked on Liam's face. Those eyes, those impossible storm gray eyes that Liam had inherited from his father. Erica's heart hammered as she moved closer, close enough to hear their conversation. Hi there, Nathan said, his voice oddly strained. I'm Dr. Crosswell. What's your name? Liam Vonnell, her son said with a shy smile. I know you. You're the doctor who makes sad people better. Liam? Nathan's breath caught audibly, looking intensely at his eyes, those stormy gray eyes. You have such a beautiful name and eyes. Mom says I have the most beautiful eyes like my dad, Liam explained with the easy honesty of childhood. Is it weird? No, Nathan whispered. No, not weird at all. Your eyes are very beautiful. Erica reached them, her hand settling on Liam's shoulder. Nathan looked up at her, and the question in his eyes made her knees weak. Liam, honey, why don't you go find Dad? Tell him we'll be heading home soon. Okay, Mom. Liam smiled up at Nathan. It was nice to meet you, Dr. Crosswell. Maybe I can come back and see the garden again? Anytime, Nathan said hoarsely. You're welcome here anytime. As Liam scampered off, Nathan rose slowly, never breaking eye contact with Erica. The silence between them was deafening. Erica! Her name came out broken. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm seeing things that aren't there. She wanted to lie. She'd become so good at lying over the years. But looking into those gray eyes, the same gray eyes she saw every morning at breakfast, every night at bedtime, the lies stuck in her throat. Nathan, Erica! Adrian's voice cut through the moment like a blade. He appeared beside them, his smile charming but his eyes cold. There you are. We should be going. Early surgery tomorrow. His hand settled possessively on her lower back. Crosswell, hell of an event. Great for the optics. Adrian, Nathan said tightly, fixing his gaze on his eyes. They were blue. Deep ocean blue eyes. Definitely not stormy gray. Come along, darling. Adrian's fingers pressed just a bit too hard against her spine. Liam needs his rest. As Adrian steered her away, Erica looked back once. Nathan stood frozen in the garden, his face a landscape of devastation and wonder, and she knew, that everything was about to change. The first time Liam asked to visit Crosswell Haven again, Adrian had been in a good mood. A successful surgery, praise from the hospital board. He'd waved his hand dismissively and said, Fine, whatever keeps the boy occupied. Erica knew she shouldn't allow this closeness. But I can't be selfish. Going out and mingling is good for her son, who is fast becoming an introvert, withdrawing day after day, she had thought to herself. Now, sitting in Nathan's office while her son played with other children in the therapy garden, Erica struggled to explain why they're here. Why she's here. He lights up here, she said quietly, watching through the window as Liam helped a younger child plant seeds in a raised bed. At home, he's so careful, like he's afraid to take up space. But here he's just a kid, Nathan finished. He sat across from her, close enough that she could see the flecks of blue in his gray eyes. Erica, we need to talk about— Don't! She held up a hand. Please don't. He's 7 years old. You said he turned 7 in March? Nathan's voice was gentle but insistent, which means he was conceived in June. 8 years ago? 3 months before Riley died? 3 months before I left. Erica's eyes burned. Nathan, I'm not asking for anything. I just need to know. Is he mine? The word mine shattered something inside her. She'd spent 7 years avoiding that word, that question, that truth. But sitting here, watching Nathan watch her son, their son, with such naked longing, she couldn't lie anymore. Yes, she whispered. Yes, he's yours. Nathan's breath left him in a rush. He stood abruptly, crossed to the window, his hands braced against the frame. His shoulders shook and Erica realized he was crying, silent, wrecking sobs that he was trying desperately to contain. I have a son. The words were wonder and devastation. I have a 7-year-old son. You have a son who doesn't know you, Erica said, hating the cruelty in her voice but unable to stop it. A son who calls another man dad because his real father disappeared? Nathan flinched. Did you know before I left? I found out 2 weeks after you were gone. I tried to call, tried to find you, but you disconnected everything. Vanished. Old anger surged. So I did what I had to do. I gave him a dad and built a life. With Adrian Holt, Nathan's voice went flat. Does he know? Does he think Liam is his? He knows Liam isn't his biologically. I was honest from the beginning. But he agreed to be a father figure, to provide stability. She wrapped her arms around herself. I needed stability, Nathan. I had a baby and you were gone. I'm so sorry. The words seemed inadequate. If I had known. But you didn't. So, Nathan sighed after a long silence. Adrian is just a father figure. He turned, his face wet. But why marry a man who— He stopped himself. Who what? Erica stood defensive. Who gave me stability? Who didn't abandon me? Who was there? Who hurts you? Nathan's voice was quiet steel. I've seen the way he grips your arm, the way you flinch when he touches you, the way you apologize for things that aren't your fault. You don't know anything about my marriage. I know what I see, Erica, and I see a woman who's afraid, not in love. He took a step closer. Does Liam know? Does he know that Adrian isn't his father? No. But he doesn't know about you two, and I would love to keep it that way. She almost shouted. Her voice broke. I didn't know if I'd ever see you again. I didn't know if you'd want to know. Want to know? Nathan's laugh was incredulous and painful. Erica, I have a son. A 7-year-old son with my eyes and your heart. And I've missed every birthday, every milestone, He pressed the heels of his hands against his eyes. What do we do now? I don't know, she admitted. Adrian can't find out. She stopped herself, but not before Nathan's eyes sharpened. He'll what? Nothing. It will be complicated. They stood in charged silence, the truth hanging between them like a living thing. Finally, Nathan spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. Can I keep seeing him? Can I be in his life even if he doesn't know? I need to know him, Erica. Please. It's complicated, Adrian. Does Adrian hurt him? The question came sharp. No, he's distant, cold, but he doesn't hit him. He just makes him invisible, she didn't add. Erica, I need to go. I shouldn't have brought Liam here. I'm glad you did. Nathan caught her hand. Whatever happens next, I'm glad I met him. Thank you for that. She pulled away before she could do something foolish. Don't contact us. I need time to think. I'll wait, Nathan said. But Erica, I'm not disappearing again. I'm going to be in my son's life. I need you to know that. She nodded and fled. But that night, lying beside Adrian's sleeping form, she wondered how long she could keep her world from colliding. The explosion came 2 weeks later. Erica was in the kitchen helping Liam with homework when Adrian slammed through the door, his face dark with rage. Living room, now. Liam's pencil froze. Erica squeezed his shoulder. Keep working, sweetheart. Adrian stood by the fireplace, phone in hand, knuckles white. I had an interesting conversation today with Marcus from the hospital board. He mentioned seeing you at that Crosswell Haven. Said you looked quite cozy with Nathan Crosswell. Erica's stomach dropped. It was for Liam. Liam? Adrian's laugh was ugly, so I did some digging. Found out Nathan Crosswell used to be a trauma surgeon at Metropolitan, that he left his position 8 years ago. He held up his phone. Right around the time you and I met. Adrian, how long were you together? How long were you sleeping with the good doctor before he dumped you? Don't speak to me like that. I'll speak however I want. You let me believe you were some heartbroken woman who needed saving. He moved closer. When was Liam born? Adrian, please. When? March 8th. She watched him calculate, watched realization dawn, then fury. He's Crosswell's. Not a question. That bastard I've been raising is his. Don't call him that. Her voice turned to steel. Don't you dare. Why not? It's true. You passed off your ex-lover's spawn as some anonymous mistake. Adrian's face twisted. Does Crosswell know? Her silence answered. Perfect. So perfect. His laugh was bitter. And now what? You're planning to leave me run back to him? I never said. You don't have to say it. I see it every time his name comes up. I see it in how Liam talks about him like he's some hero. Adrian grabbed her arm, fingers digging in. You've made a fool of me. You're hurting me. You're hurting me. Good. He shoved her away. I want him gone. Who? The boy. I don't want him here anymore. Erica's blood went cold. Liam is my son. He's not going anywhere. Then neither are you. Because if you try to leave, if you try to take him to Crosswell, I will destroy you both. Custody battles for years. Everyone will know what you did. Tricked a man into raising another man's child. He leaned close. Your career, your reputation, your son's stability, I'll burn it all. I never tricked. No one would believe you, Adrain mocked. You wouldn't dare. Erica was now sobbing, despite the raw anger surging in her chest. Try me. His breath was hot against her face. You belong to me, Erica. Accept it. He left her trembling, heading to his study for a drink. Upstairs, Liam called asking if everything was okay. Everything's fine, baby, she called back, voice somehow steady. But nothing was fine. The next 2 weeks were careful avoidance. Adrian went to work, came home, barely acknowledged Liam. Erica tried to maintain normalcy, but Liam was perceptive. Did I do something bad? He asked one night at bedtime. No, baby. Why? Dad looks at me angry now. Erica's heart broke. He's just stressed from work. Mom? Liam's gray eyes were uncertain. Who's my real dad? The question stole her breath. What? Why would you ask such a question? Because Dad said I'm not really his. He said I'm someone else's mistake. His voice was small. Am I a mistake? No, she pulled him close, fierce. No, baby, you are not a mistake. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Then who's my real dad? Nathan's face rose in her mind. Someone who would love you very much if he could. Someone who didn't know about you. Oh, Liam was quiet. Do you think he'd want to meet me? I think, Erica whispered, he'd want nothing more in the world. She was so angry at Adrain, so mad at his cruelty. But she felt peace embracing the truth, embracing her son. The Tuesday Erica had to work late. She should have known better. A major case broke. Corporate fraud requiring immediate attention. She called Adrian at 5:30. I won't be home until after 9. Liam's dinner is in the fridge. Fine. He hung up. She should have recognized the danger in his tone, but drowning in deposition, she didn't look up until 8:45. She called the house, no answer. Called Adrian's cell, no answer. Cold dread settled in her chest. Erica drove home, breaking every speed limit. The house was dark except Adrian's study. She burst through the door. Liam? No answer. Adrian! She found him at his desk, half-empty whiskey bottle beside him. He looked up with cold, distant eyes. Where's Liam? Gone. The world stopped. What do you mean gone? Not here. Adrian's words slurred slightly. Little brat spilled coffee on my desk, ruined a grant proposal I've been working on for months. He laughed without humor. You should have seen his face when I told him he was nothing but a mistake you made before me. A bastard you pretended I fathered out of pity? Erica's hands shook. What did you do? Told him the truth. That he's not mine, never was, never will be. That he's a reminder of your betrayal. Adrian stood swaying. Then I told him to get out. To go find the daddy he wants so much. You threw him out? Her voice was barely a whisper. It's raining. It's dark. He's 7 years old. And you threw him out? He ran off about 2 hours ago. Adrian shrugged. Figured he'd come crawling back when he got cold. Erica didn't remember crossing the room, but her hand cracked across Adrian's face hard enough to snap his head sideways. If anything happens to him, she said, deadly calm, I will destroy you. Everything you have. Everything you are. She didn't wait for response, she ran. Rain turned streets into dark rivers. Erica drove through the neighborhood calling Liam's name, voice hoarse with fear. She checked the playground, library, school, all empty. She called police, reported him missing. They promised officers would search. Every second was an eternity. With shaking hands, she dialed Crosswell Haven line, and her call was immediately transferred to Nathan after reading the urgency in her tone. Erica, Nathan answered. Nathan, her voice broke. I need help. Liam is missing. Adrian threw him out, and he's been gone over 2 hours, and it's raining, and he's barefoot, and... Where are you? Instant alertness. That old surgeon's calm. In my car, driving around, but I can't find him. Erica, listen. Breathe. Can you do that? She sucked in air. Good. Now think. Where would Liam go? What makes him feel safe? I don't... She stopped. Remembered. You. He talks about you. About your center. About how you help scared kids. Understanding crashed through her. Crosswell Haven? He might have tried to find your center. The center is 40 minutes away from here. But Erica... Nathan paused. I need you to be calm. I'm calling my office right now. She heard him dialing. Martin, I need you to check around the center for a 7-year-old boy and let me know as soon as you find him. Okay? Erica's sob was loud and ragged. Erica, we will find him, I promise. But right now, I need you to stay where you are, and I will join you. Can you stay calm for me, please? His voice was raw and full of emotions. Erica nodded amidst tears. Please come, Nathan. I really need you right now. She gave him her cross streets. Minutes later, his car pulled beside hers. He was in her passenger seat before she could process it. I'm here, he said gently, his hand finding hers and squeezing. Let's go get our son. The drive took 30 agonizing minutes. His secretary had called on their way. He had found him near the gate, scared and dripping wet, calling for Dr. Crosswell. Martin stood with him at the gate, draping blankets on his shoulder. Wouldn't come in, Martin said quietly. Tried to get him inside, but he said he had to wait for Dr. Crosswell. Said this is where the light stays on for broken kids. Nathan's eyes glistened. He looked at Erica. Let me go first. Let me bring him to you. She nodded, unable to speak. Nathan got down from the car slowly. The security light cast pale glow over the small figure curled at a corner, soaked through, shivering violently. Liam. The boy's head snapped up. Nathan saw it all. Tear-streaked face, split lip, bruise forming on his cheekbone. Terror and hope warring in those gray eyes. Dr. Crosswell? Liam's voice was barely audible. I'm sorry, I didn't know where else to go. Nathan dropped to his knees, not caring about the water, and gathered the boy into his arms. Liam was freezing, trembling with cold and shock. You did exactly right, Nathan said, voice thick. Coming here. This is exactly where you should have come. Dad said to find my real daddy. Liam's words came between chattering teeth. He said I'm a mistake. You're not. Nathan pulled back to look into those eyes. His eyes. You are not a mistake. You're wanted. You're loved. Do you hear me? But I don't have a real daddy. Nathan's heart shattered and remade itself. He cupped Liam's face gently, thumbs brushing away rain and tears. You do, he whispered. You've always had one. He just didn't know about you. But he does now. His voice broke. I've got you, son. You're safe now. Liam stared, processing. Then understanding dawned, and his sob was wrenching. He threw his arms around Nathan's neck and held on. Nathan lifted him, pressing his forehead to the boy's. I've got you. I've got you. He carried Liam to the car, and when Erica saw her son in his father's arms, she broke. Mama? Liam reached for her. Nathan carefully transferred him to her embrace. Oh, baby. Erica ran her hands over him, checking injuries. Oh, my sweet baby. I'm so sorry. It's okay, Mama, Liam's teeth chattered. I found him. I found Dad. Erica met Nathan's eyes over Liam's head. In that moment, everything shifted. The walls crumbled. They were a family. They'd always been a family. Let's get him inside, Nathan said softly. Get him warm. Inside, Nathan wrapped Liam in new blankets, while Erica called police to report they'd found him. Then she called for an ambulance. I'm fine, Mama, Liam protested weakly. You have a split lip and bruising. Her voice was steel. We're getting you checked. The ambulance arrived within minutes. EMTs were gentle, but Erica saw how they documented the bruises. She knew what this meant. Mandatory reporting, child services, investigation. Good. Let them investigate. Let Adrian's mask shatter. I'm riding with him, both Erica and Nathan said simultaneously. The lead EMT looked between them. Are you both parents? Yes, Erica said firmly. He's the father. Nathan's hand found hers as they rode together, Liam between them, their son finally where he belonged. At the hospital, staff examined Liam thoroughly. The split lip needed butterfly bandages. The bruises would heal, but the social worker's evaluation took longer. Erica and Nathan waited outside the room, hands still intertwined. This is my fault, Erica whispered. I knew Adrian was getting worse. I knew he resented Liam, but I thought I could manage it. This is not your fault. Nathan's voice was fierce. This is Adrian's fault. Only his. I should have left. You were trying to survive. To give our son a home. Nathan turned to her. But Erica, you don't have to just survive anymore. You can live. Both of you. With me, if you'll let me. She looked up at him. Nathan, I know this is fast. I know we have things to work through. But I want you to know, you both have a home with me, for as long as you need. Forever, if you'll have me. Before she could respond, the social worker emerged. Mrs. Von Holt, will need to file a report with Child Protective Services. Given the severity of the injuries and Liam's admission of Mr. Holt striking him, we're recommending emergency protective custody. Patricia's voice was gentle but firm. Do you have somewhere safe to stay tonight? Somewhere Mr. Holt cannot access? She does, Nathan said immediately. They're both staying with me. Patricia nodded. Good. We'll also need photographs of the injuries for evidence, and Liam will need to speak with a police detective tomorrow. But for tonight, get him home. Keep him safe. They brought Liam back to Nathan's house near midnight. He'd been given mild pain medication and was drowsy, but alert enough to ask questions. "Am I in trouble?" he asked from the back seat. "No, baby." Erica turned to look at him. "You're not in trouble. You did nothing wrong." "Will Dad Holt be mad I told the social lady about him?" "Dad Holt is gone," Nathan said quietly. "He's never going to hurt you again, I promise." "Good." Liam's eyes were already drooping. "I like it better here. It feels safe." Erica helped her son change into one of Nathan's old t-shirts to sleep in, tucked him in, and sat on the edge of the bed. "Mom?" Liam's voice was sleepy. "Is Dr. Crosswell really my dad?" "Yes, sweetheart." "Why didn't you tell me before?" "Because..." She stroked his hair. "Because I thought I was protecting you." "But I was wrong. I'm sorry." "It's okay." Liam yawned. "I'm glad he's my dad. He's nice. And he has the same eyes as me." "Yes," Erica whispered. "He does." "Mom, can we stay here?" "I don't want to go back to Dad Holt's house." "We're not going back, baby. Never going back." Within minutes, Liam was asleep. Erica sat there watching him breathe, making sure he was safe. He was here. She felt Nathan's presence in the doorway before she saw him. When she looked up, his face was wet with tears. "He called me Dad," Nathan whispered. "Our son called me Dad." Erica stood and crossed to him. Without thinking, she stepped into his arms, and Nathan held her like he'd been waiting 8 years to do it. "I'm sorry," she said against his chest. "I'm so sorry for all the time you lost with him. We'll make up for it." Nathan's voice was rough. "We have the rest of our lives to make up for it." They stood there in the hallway, holding each other, while their son slept safely for the first time in weeks. The next morning, detectives came to take Liam's statement. He was brave, telling them everything. How Adrian had called him names, hit him, thrown him out into the rain. Erica held his hand through it all, her heart breaking and mending with every word. The hospital photos were damning. The bruises, the split lip, the terror in a 7-year-old's eyes. Combined with Liam's testimony and Adrian's own admission to Erica, the case was airtight. Adrian Holt was arrested at the hospital that afternoon for felony assault and child endangerment. The media descended like vultures. Prominent neurosurgeon accused of child abuse. His perfect public image shattered in hours. Erica filed for emergency divorce and sole custody. With Nathan paying for the best family law attorney in the state, Adrian didn't stand a chance. The trial came 6 weeks later. Adrian's lawyers tried to paint Erica as an unfaithful wife. Tried to make Nathan out to be a home wrecker. Tried to claim Adrian had been defending himself against a violent stepchild. But the evidence didn't lie. Neither did Liam's testimony. When the verdict came, guilty on all counts, medical license suspended, 2 years in prison plus probation, Erica felt something release in her chest. Something that had been clenched tight for 7 years. Nathan was beside her in the courtroom. He'd been beside her through everything. Court dates, therapy sessions for Liam, late nights when nightmares woke their son. He'd stepped into fatherhood like he'd been preparing for it his whole life. "It's over," Nathan said softly as they left the courthouse. "It's finally over." "No," Erica took his hand. "It's finally beginning." 3 months after the trial, Erica and Liam officially moved into Nathan's house. She'd expected it to feel strange, disjointed, combining lives after so long apart. But instead, it felt like coming home. Liam thrived. Away from Adrian's coldness, he blossomed into a bright, joyful child. Nathan taught him to plant vegetables in the garden, to repair toys for the younger kids at the Haven. Father and son were inseparable. One evening, Erica found them in Liam's room, Nathan sitting on the floor while Liam showed him his drawings. "This one's from before," Liam said, holding up a picture of a small figure alone in the dark. "That's me when I was sad all the time." "And this one?" Nathan asked gently. Liam held up a new drawing, 3 figures holding hands under a bright red heart. This is us now. You, me, and Mommy. We're a family. Nathan's voice was thick. We are. We absolutely are. Erica leaned against the doorframe, tears streaming down her face. Nathan looked up, saw her, and extended his hand. She crossed the room and sat beside them, and Liam climbed into her lap. Mom? Liam asked. Are you happy now? Yes, baby, she kissed his head. I'm so happy. Me too. He looked at Nathan. Dad, do you think kids at your haven could use more pictures? I could draw them hearts, so they know somebody loves them. Nathan's eyes glistened. I think that would be perfect, son. They'd love that. That night, after Liam was asleep, Nathan and Erica sat on the balcony. I never stopped loving you, Nathan said quietly. Even when I thought I'd lost you forever. Even when I thought I'd lost the right to love you. Erica took his hand. You promised to save her, she said, referring to Riley. And you couldn't. No, I couldn't. But you saved me, she whispered. And you saved him. You saved us both when we needed it most. Nathan turned to her, cupping her face in his hands. I will spend the rest of my life making up for the time we lost. We're not lost anymore, Erica said. We're exactly where we're meant to be. Then they kissed. It was soft and sweet and tasted like tears and healing and hope. When they pulled apart, Nathan pressed his forehead to hers. Marry me, he whispered. Not because of Liam. Marry me because I can't imagine spending another day without you as my wife. Erica's laugh was watery. Are you proposing to me? I'm proposing to you. We found each other again, and I'm never letting you go ever again. Then yes, she kissed him again. Yes, yes, yes. The garden of the Crosswell Healing Center for Children was alive with laughter and sunlight. Nathan and Erica stood together watching the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Their expanded facility, funded by donations that had poured in after Adrian's trial, made headlines. People wanted to support real healing, real change. Liam, now 8 years old, was at the center of a group of children, showing them his latest drawings. His nightmares had faded. His smile came easily now. He called Nathan Dad without hesitation, and the sound of it still made Nathan's eyes bright with unshed tears every single time. Speech time, Nathan murmured, squeezing Erica's hand. They approached the podium together, as they did everything now. Nathan spoke first, his voice carrying across the assembled crowd of donors, families, and supporters. When I left medicine 8 years ago, I thought I was running from failure. From loss, from the weight of the life I couldn't save. His eyes found Erica's. But I wasn't running from anything. I was running toward something I just couldn't see yet. Toward this place, toward purpose, toward family. Erica stepped forward, her lawyer's composure tempered now with something softer. This center exists because we believe every child deserves safety. Every child deserves to be seen, to be valued, to be loved unconditionally. No child should ever feel invisible in their own home. She glanced at Liam, who was watching them with those storm-gray eyes so like his father's. My son taught me that healing isn't about forgetting the pain. It's about finding the courage to love through it. To trust again, to believe that broken things can be made whole. The crowd applauded, but Nathan and Erica barely heard it. They were watching Liam break away from his group of friends and run toward them, his face bright with joy. Mom, Dad! He crashed into them and they caught him together, laughing. Can I show the other kids the tree we planted? The one for Aunt Riley? Nathan's breath caught. They'd planted a cherry tree in Riley's memory last spring, and Liam had helped choose the spot, right in the center of the garden, where it would bloom every year. Of course, son, Nathan said. Show them. As Liam ran back to his friends, chattering about his Aunt Riley, who he'd never met but who lived in the stories they told him, Erica leaned into Nathan's embrace. You think love like this gets a second chance? Nathan asked, echoing words from a lifetime ago. Erica smiled, watching their son, whole and happy and safe, leading other children toward hope. "No," she said softly. "Love like this never stopped. It was just waiting for us to be brave enough to claim it." Nathan's arm tightened around Erica's shoulders. She rested her head against him, breathing in the peace of this moment, this perfect, hard-won moment. "I love you," she whispered. "I never stopped, even when I pretended I did." "I know," Nathan said, his voice rough with emotion. "I love you too, both of you, my whole world." The silence between heartbeats filled with the sound of a family that had been broken and remade, stronger in the mended places. And in that silence, in that sacred pause between one heartbeat and the next, they found everything they'd been searching for. Home. This story is dedicated to everyone who's ever felt invisible, for every child who needed saving, for every love that refused to die, for every heart that kept beating through the silence, waiting for the moment when broken things could finally be made whole. Till next time, keep the hope and love alive.